Imagine stumbling upon a photograph so shocking, so secretive, that possessing it could cost you your freedom, or worse. What if I told you that such images, hidden from the world, have been smuggled out of Russia, revealing truths that were never meant to see the light of day? Join us as we unravel 10 illegal photos smuggled out of Russia. Number 10. Frozen Ghost Town. Nestled deep within Russia's unforgiving Arctic tundra with temperatures jumping to an unimaginable -50°C, has transformed once thriving communities into strange, frozen relics of a forgotten past. These ghost towns, now mere echoes of Vorkuta's coal mining legacy and its threatening history as one of the Soviet Union's most notorious Gulag labor camps, offer an unsettling glimpse into a world trapped in ice.
A crazy place to be stuck in.
Just surrounded by ghost town and
ex-communist Soviet Russia.
Vorkuta, once a home of industrial activity, owes its existence to the discovery of vast coal deposits in the 1930s. The Soviet regime quickly established labor camps, forcibly relocating thousands of prisoners, many of whom were political dissidents, intellectuals, and ordinary citizens accused of minor offenses, to mine coal under brutal conditions. At its peak, Vorkuta was one of the largest and deadliest of the Gulag camps, with over 50,000 prisoners enduring forced labor in temperatures that could freeze exposed skin in minutes. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 marked the beginning of the end for Vorkuta. As coal production became increasingly unprofitable and the Russian government withdrew its support, the towns that had sprung up around the mines began to empty. The economic downturn led to a mass evacuation, with entire neighborhoods abandoned almost overnight. Today, the skeletal remains of these towns stand as chilling monuments to a history of suffering and survival. Photographer Maria Passer, drawn to this desolate landscape, undertook a dangerous 3-week journey to document the frozen remnants of these towns. Her journey was fraught with challenges, navigating snow-covered roads, battling the bone-numbing cold, and contending with the ever-present danger of collapse in the decaying structures. Using a drone, Passer captured haunting images of buildings entombed in ice, with staircases and window frames clothed in strange, iceberg chunks. These images reveal how nature, slowly but surely, has begun to reclaim what was once the domain of human industry. The villages surrounding Vorkuta are now nearly empty, with only one apartment building still holding on to life amidst the desolation. The few remaining residents, mostly elderly and isolated, live in a state of underworld, caught between a deep connection to their homeland and the harsh reality of their situation. Many yearn for government assistance to relocate, but official idleness and limited options often leave them trapped in a place that feels like a ghostly suffering. These powerful images, and the stories they tell, challenge the narrative often presented by state-controlled media in Russia. While the official line may downplay the extent of the decay, Passer's visual documentation provides a determined look at the true conditions in these remote, forgotten corners of the world. Number 9. Putin's early life and rise to power. Recently uncovered photos from the KGB and Kremlin archives provide a captivating look into the formative stages of the man who would one day command Russia with an iron grip. These photos, spanning from Putin's childhood in the 1950s to his early career as a KGB agent in the 1980s, reveal a young man who was determined, disciplined, and fiercely competitive from a very young age. In one striking image, a shirtless young Putin is captured practicing judo on a mat. His lean build and focused expression hint at the physical and mental toughness that would later define his character. Putin's love for martial arts, especially judo, was more than just a hobby. It was a discipline that shaped his approach to life and politics. He earned a black belt and even co-authored a book on the sport, which he later used as a diplomatic tool to build relationships with leaders who shared his passion. Another photo shows a young Putin as a law student at Leningrad State University, where he not only studied, but also became active in the Communist Party. His biographers note that he was an exceptional student, known for his sharp intellect and strong analytical abilities, qualities that caught the attention of his professors. It was here that Putin began to cultivate the connections that would later prove crucial in his political ascent. His ability to navigate the complex political landscape of the time, coupled with his academic abilities, set him apart as a rising star in the eyes of the Soviet elite. Perhaps the most revealing image, however, is a candid shot from the early 1990s, just as the Soviet Union was collapsing and a new era of Russian politics was on the horizon. In this photo, Putin is seen smiling and laughing with friends at a party, his arm around a young woman who would later become his wife, Lyudmila. This snapshot captures a rare moment of fun, but it also marks a turning point in his life. As the Soviet Union disintegrated, Putin found himself at a crossroads. He briefly considered leaving Russia, contemplating a career in the West, but ultimately chose to stay and navigate the treacherous waters of post-Soviet politics. In the troubled years that followed, Putin's career skyrocketed. He served as an advisor to the mayor of St. Petersburg, where he sharpened his skills in political maneuvering and developed a reputation for being both cunning and pragmatic. These traits would serve him well as he raised through the ranks, eventually leading to his appointment as head of the FSB, the successor to the KGB, and later, his selection as Boris Yeltsin's successor. By the time he ascended to the presidency in 1999, Putin had already laid the groundwork for his future rule, using a combination of calculated moves and strategic alliances to secure his position as the leader of Russia. Number 8. Putin's secret palace. These images were leaked by allies of the jailed Russian activist Alexei Navalny. This revelation comes roughly a year after Navalny's organization, the Anti-Corruption Foundation, first exposed the existence of this lavish estate. In January 2021, the foundation claimed that Putin had been secretly constructing a massive 17,691 square meter palace near Gelendzhik on the Black Sea since 2014, with a staggering estimated cost of $1.3 billion. According to the foundation, the funds for this grand project were channeled through a corruption scheme, with Putin's inner circle allegedly paying him for access and influence. The Kremlin initially dismissed these allegations as baseless, but the leaked photos offer a rare glimpse inside the palace during its construction. The undated images reveal an array of features within the palace grounds, including security fences, a port, a church, a no-fly zone, a border checkpoint, a wine cellar, a theater, a gym, a swimming pool, an aquatic center, and even an ice hockey rink.
Palace complex with its own amphitheater, a tea house, and a helipad. Who owns it? Well, Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny has released a 2-hour video investigation.
Navalny, who has long been a fierce critic of Putin, described the palace as a state within a state, where Putin rules as the sole and irreplaceable emperor. The leaked images, which have been compared to the palace's blueprints, appear to capture moments during its construction. Despite Navalny's imprisonment, following his return to Russia in 2021, after surviving a poisoning attempt with the Novichok nerve agent in 2020. This exposure of Putin's alleged secret hideout adds yet another twist to the ongoing political drama. Number 7. General Yevgeny Prigozhin in Skibbies. A rather unflattering photo of General Yevgeny Prigozhin recently surfaced online, seemingly intended to humiliate him after his private military group, Wagner, and suffered a significant defeat in a crucial operation. The image captures Prigozhin sitting in a mess-up tent, giving a helpless wave to the camera. What makes the photo particularly amusing is his attire, a tight white shirt that awkwardly points up his balloon belly and black shorts that starkly contrast with his thin, pale legs. The photo, time-stamped at 7:24 a.m. on June 12th, was taken just 11 days before Prigozhin boldly attempted to lead a rebellion against Russia's military leadership. This rebellion, which shocked the world, saw Wagner forces march hundreds of kilometers toward Moscow, capturing key cities along the way. The audacity of the move led many to believe that Prigozhin was aiming to seize power by capturing Russia's top military brass. Prigozhin, however, insisted that his uprising was not directed at President Vladimir Putin, but was instead a desperate attempt to remove corrupt senior military officials who, in his view, were ruining Russia's war effort in Ukraine. The photograph, which leaked amidst growing tension, raised eyebrows not just because of Prigozhin's untidy appearance, but also because of the timing and circumstances under which it was taken. Some reports suggest that the photo might have been captured by someone within his own ranks, possibly as a subtle message of dissent or as an insurance policy against the increasingly fearful leader. Others speculate that it was part of a broader psychological operation by Russian intelligence to undermine Prigozhin's authority. As Prigozhin's forces halted their advance just 200 kilometers from Moscow, he abruptly called off the rebellion in a surprise deal brokered by Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko. Following this, Kremlin forces wasted no time raiding Prigozhin's properties in St. Petersburg. What they uncovered added further intrigue to the already dramatic saga: a room stocked with medical equipment, a collection of unregistered weapons, a collection of passports with different identities, and a staggering $111 million in cash and gold bars. The discovery of this hidden fortune fueled rumors about Prigozhin's illicit dealings and raised questions about how deep his influence ran within Russia. The leaked photo of Prigozhin, appearing both vulnerable and comical, added a bizarre and almost calm layer to the already complex and dangerous narrative of his rebellion. Number 6. Putin's secret daughters. For years, the private lives of Russian President Vladimir Putin's two daughters, Maria and Katerina, have been cloaked in secrecy and speculation. The mystery surrounding them has fascinated the public and media alike. Recently, however, a collection of exclusive photos has surfaced, offering an unprecedented look into the privileged world of the Russian leader's family. These images, shared by Sergei Pugachev, a former confidant of Putin, provide a rare glimpse into the lives of Maria and Katerina during the early 2000s. Sergei Pugachev, a Russian businessman and ex-senator who was once a key member of Putin's inner circle, leaked the photos. Pugachev, who fled Russia in 2015 after dramatic fallout with Putin and now lives in exile, has offered insights into the context of these images. The photos illustrate Maria and Katerina enjoying extravagant parties and social events, surrounded by friends and family, showcasing their lives of luxury and security. One of the images captures the sisters in a moment of joy, laughing and posing with Pugachev's own children. The photos highlight the exclusive and sheltered environment in which the Putin family lived, far from the public's gaze. Pugachev revealed that during his time with Putin, he was entrusted with the significant responsibility of ensuring the safety and comfort of the president's daughters. He was tasked with shielding them from the intense scrutiny of the media and providing them with a secure and enjoyable lifestyle. Further adding to the intrigue, Pugachev's revelations include details about the luxurious settings of the events illustrated in the photos. He describes lavish private estates, high-profile social gatherings, and a network of influential connections that surrounded Maria and Katerina. The leaked images not only reveal the luxurious side of the Putin family's life, but also offer a glimpse into the friendly circle of elite Russian society during that period. Now it's time for today's subscriber's pick. In the shadowed alleys of Moscow, where the whispers of disagreement are carried on the cold, biting wind, a chilling rumor began to spread. It started as a murmur in the underground circles, a secret shared only among the most trusted, but it quickly grew into something much more alarming. The word on the street was that a series of photos had surfaced, images so shocking that they could shake the very foundations of power in Russia. The photos, it was said, showed none other than Vladimir Putin himself, his face pale, eyes wide with a mixture of fury and disbelief. But what made these images truly terrifying was the sight of blood splattered across his cool white shirt, staining his hands and pooling on the cold, hard ground beneath him. The story behind these photos was hidden in mystery. Some claimed they were taken in the dead of night, during a secretive operation gone horribly wrong. Others whispered that they captured the moment of Putin's arrest, a coup d'etat that no one had seen coming. These photos had been smuggled out of Russia, hidden in the folds of a cloak, or perhaps in the lining of a suitcase, evading the ever-watchful eyes of the state. Who had the courage or the recklessness to risk everything to expose these images to the world? And why was Putin covered in blood? Was it his own or someone else's? Let's know your thoughts and comments below. Number 5. Paul Whelan, inside a Russian prison. An intriguing glimpse into a Russian prison has recently surfaced, revealing rare images of American Paul Whelan, who has been held there for over 3 years.
In the roughly 1,700 days of his captivity, we've rarely gotten this close of a look at Paul Whelan.
These photographs, which were smuggled out and featured on Russia Today RT, provide a rare look at Whelan's life in a remote, wooded area of Russia known as IK7. The images shows Whelan dressed in a black outfit, engaged in various activities. We see him working at a sewing machine, talking with a reporter, and eating meals. One of the photos even shows him holding what appears to be an ID card. Some footage from security cameras shows Whelan meeting with diplomats through a glass window. The exact timing of these photos is still uncertain, but they emerged during a period when the U.S. was actively working to secure Whelan's release.
And while we have not yet succeeded in securing Paul's release, we are not giving up. We will never give up.
Whelan's twin brother, David, has revealed that Paul informed the family the video was made some time ago and that prison officials pressured him into participating. According to David, when Paul did not cooperate, prison guards allegedly damaged his belongings and confiscated his possessions. Despite the challenging circumstances and the potential for the video to be Russian propaganda, David is thankful for the opportunity to see his brother after such a long time.
Paul Whelan's brother David, who tells me what you're about to see is the worst type of propaganda.
The last time the family saw Paul was in June 2020. It remains unclear why Russia decided to release these images or if they have a specific message for the U.S. The ongoing negotiations for Whelan's release continue, with the U.S. asserting that his detention is unjust. Number 4. Burnt Russian submarine. Leaked photos from a dry dock in occupied Crimea have unveiled the burned remains of a Russian diesel submarine, offering a rare glimpse into the devastating aftermath of what appears to be one of the most daring Ukrainian attacks to date. These images, secretly obtained by a Western media outlet, reveal not just the visible damage, but the strategic implications of the pre-dawn strike on the Sevastopol shipyard, an attack that could very well mark a turning point in the naval conflict between Russia and Ukraine. The submarine in question, the Rostov-on-Don Project 636.3, is part of Russia's feared Kilo-class fleet, known for its secret capabilities and often referred to as the Black Hole by NATO, due to its ability to evade detection. Alongside the Rostov-on-Don, the large landing ship Minsk, a vessel crucial for transporting troops and equipment, also suffered severe damage. The photos show the once formidable submarine, now with wide breaches in its framework, its interior ravaged by fire, and signs of an explosion that might have crippled its critical systems. These details contradict Russia's official reports, which have downplayed the severity of the attack, suggesting minimal damage. What makes this incident even more significant is the timing and location. Sevastopol, home to Russia's Black Sea Fleet, is a heavily fortified port with advanced air defense systems. The successful strike not only exposed vulnerabilities in Russia's naval defenses, but also demonstrated Ukraine's growing capability to launch precision strikes deep into occupied territories. Military analysts suggest that the attack may have involved the use of Storm Shadow cruise missiles, supplied by the West, which are capable of striking targets with pinpoint accuracy from long distances. Furthermore, the implications of this attack extend beyond the immediate damage to Russian vessels. The Rostov-on-Don was reportedly involved in launching Caliber cruise missiles at Ukrainian targets, making it a high-value asset in Russia's arsenal. Its incapacitation represents not just a loss of naval power, but a significant blow to Russia's ability to project force in the Black Sea and beyond. These leaked images, contrasting sharply with the statements from Russia's defense ministry, have fueled speculation about the true state of Russia's naval capabilities. As experts analyze the photos, questions arise about the resilience of the Russian fleet under continued pressure from Ukrainian forces, potentially shifting the balance of power in the ongoing conflict. The world now watches closely as this rare look into the often hidden world of naval warfare brings into question the future of Russia's military dominance in the region. Number 3. The Spy and Reagan. In an unexpected twist of history, a young Vladimir Putin, who was then a relatively obscure KGB officer, can be seen in the background of a photograph taken during President Ronald Reagan's visit to Moscow in 1988. This intriguing image, captured by White House photographer Pete Souza, shows Putin blending quietly into a crowd in Red Square, holding a camera as Reagan greets a young boy. At the time, Putin was stationed in Leningrad, working in counterintelligence, a far cry from the global figure he would later become. What makes this photo even more fascinating is the context in which it was taken. The people in the crowd weren't just ordinary citizens. They were actually undercover KGB agents tasked with ensuring the safety of the Soviet Union's leadership and monitoring the American president's every move. This visit took place during a pivotal moment in the Cold War, just a few years before the Soviet Union's collapse. Reagan's visit was part of a larger effort to ease tensions between the two superpowers. But behind the scenes, the KGB was vigilant, wary of any potential threats. Putin's presence in the photograph has fueled numerous theories and speculations over the years. Some suggest that he was part of a team specifically tasked with gathering intelligence on Reagan, possibly even capturing images that would be analyzed by Soviet intelligence. Others speculate that his appearance was purely coincidental, a young officer curious to witness history in the making. Despite extensive efforts to verify Putin's identity, including consultations with officials from the Reagan Library and the National Security Council, the true story behind the photograph remains shrouded in mystery. The Kremlin has consistently denied that it is Putin in the image, adding yet another layer of intrigue. Putin himself has never confirmed or denied the claim, further fueling speculation. This rare photograph offers a tantalizing glimpse into the early life of a man who would later rise through the ranks to become one of the most powerful and controversial leaders of the 21st century. Number 2. Putin's secret train.
CNN exclusive, the lifting the veil on Vladimir Putin's secret train.
In the midst of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, an unexpected and intriguing revelation has emerged about President Vladimir Putin. As the world obsessed on the escalating tensions, leaked documents have unveiled a secret that was previously hidden from public knowledge: Putin's ultra-luxurious private train. This is not just a simple mode of transport. It's a rolling fortress equipped with unparalleled luxury and security. This train, known as the Ghost Train among insiders, is a marvel of engineering and secrecy. While Ukrainian forces were facing relentless Russian aggression, Putin was discreetly upgrading the amenities in his exclusive sports health carriage. According to the Dossier Center, led by exiled Russian businessman Mikhail Khodorkovsky, the leaked documents provide a rare glimpse into a world that Putin has gone to extraordinary lengths to conceal. The dossier reveals details about a specific carriage which is far from ordinary. Inside, it boasts a high-tech gym, a luxury spa, and even a Turkish bath, all custom-made to cater to Putin's personal preferences. But the train's features go beyond mere luxury. It's reportedly equipped with advanced communication systems, allowing Putin to stay connected with the Kremlin at all times, even in the most remote areas of Russia. The train is also believed to be fitted with cutting-edge defense mechanisms, including anti-missile systems and electronic jamming devices, making it a mobile command center that ensures Putin's safety in the event of an attack. This insight into Putin's private world underscores his obsession with privacy and security. The train operates on a secret schedule, with its movements known only to a select few in Putin's inner circle. It travels on special tracks that are isolated from the public railway system, ensuring that the president can move across the vast Russian landscape without being detected. Some analysts suggest that this militarist approach could be contributing to the growing discontent among the Russian populace. Putin's reluctance to appear in public and his preference for operating from behind the scenes may be destroying his once formidable support base. The leaked documents also indicate that Putin's team is carefully planning for scenarios where he might need to swiftly retreat to safety, especially in light of the recent Wagner mutiny, which posed one of the most significant threats to his rule in years. Although it remains unclear whether Putin utilized his special train during that tense period, it's certain that the unrest has likely intensified his already acute sense of obsession. This rare glimpse into Putin's ghost train not only unveils the hidden luxuries he indulges in, but also raises unsettling questions about the lengths to which he is willing to go to maintain control and ensure his own comfort and security amidst the chaos surrounding him. Number 1. Sights from Zarne. Imagine a city so secretive that it doesn't appear on any map. Welcome to Zarne, one of Russia's last remaining closed cities. While it may sound like the plot of a spy novel, Zarne is very real, and its story is wrapped in mystery. Located 640 kilometers southeast of Moscow, this hidden city is home to about 62,000 people and is surrounded by barbed wire, creating a world that feels entirely separate from the rest of the country. Residents of Zarne enjoy the freedom to move around within the city, but certain areas, like the notorious Rosatom facility, where nuclear weapons parts are produced, are off-limits. Photography is strictly forbidden in these zones, so no sneaky selfies allowed. Zarne was officially revealed to the public in 1986, yet it remains one of 44 closed cities in Russia, many of which are slowly opening to the outside world. However, Zarne continues to be hidden in secrecy, largely due to its ties with Rosatom. Life in this covert city is unique. Some residents appreciate the simplicity and isolation, while others long for the excitement of the world beyond the city's fences. Zarne's charm lies in its unusual mix of low living costs, modest salaries, and an absence of political turmoil, creating what some residents describe as a kind of socialist paradise. The city's roots go back to the Cold War era, when the Soviet Union established many closed cities as part of its strategic defense infrastructure. Zarne was built to support Rosatom's operations, and as a result, it was heavily guarded, with strict access controls to keep outsiders at bay and protect its secrets. For decades, the city was off-limits to the outside world, its existence known only to those who lived there, and a handful of government officials. The residents, often employed by Rosatom or related industries, lived in a tightly controlled environment where their movements were closely monitored. Despite these restrictions, many found comfort in Zarne's insulated nature, where crime was low and the sense of community was strong. The state provided excellent education and health care, ensuring that residents could focus on their work without worrying about everyday concerns. The city boasted well-maintained schools, hospitals, and recreational facilities, offering a quality of life that was enviable by Soviet standards. However, this rural existence came at the cost of personal freedom, as residents had to follow strict rules, including limitations on travel outside the city. In recent years, as Russia has gradually lifted the veil of secrecy around its closed cities, Zarne has cautiously begun to open its doors to the outside world. Yet, it remains a place filled with mystery, with its residents still living under the shadow of its nuclear past. Visitors to Zarne are rare, and those who do gain access must navigate a maze of bureaucracy and security protocols. Even so, the city has retained its unique character, a relic from a bygone era where secrecy and security were paramount. While the rest of Russia faces the challenges of modernization and globalization, Zarne stands as a proof to a time when state priorities were more important than individual freedoms. For those who call it home, Zarne is more than just a place to live. It's a symbol of resilience and continuity, where the past is still very much alive in the present. What do these photos truly reveal about life behind closed doors in a nation often hidden from the world's eyes? Are there more secrets waiting to be uncovered, or have we only scratched the surface of a much deeper mystery? Share your thoughts and comments below.